Why, hello, you amazing, beautiful people. How are you doing? And welcome back to another Taylor Swift Friday. How are you all doing? You excited for the weekend? You got any nice plans over the weekend? You doing anything cool? You're just gonna relax? You're gonna eat some nice food? That's what I always look forward to over the weekend. So, we are finishing Evermore. We have 4 songs to react to. We're doing Closure, we're doing Evermore, we're doing Right Where You Left Me, and we're doing It's Time to Go. Those are the last 4 songs on this album. We're doing all of them today in a nice, long, big Taylor Swift Friday for you all. But I do have one thing to ask before we go into this reaction. Let me know what you want me to do next week. Like I said, this channel is controlled by all of you. All you need to do is put your recommendations down below, and we are ending Evermore this Friday. So what are we starting next Friday? I'm gonna look at the comments on this video, and whichever single comment has the most likes will be what we start next Friday. So make sure you guys have a look down in the comment section and pick what you would like me to begin for the next Taylor Swift Friday. But for now, I'm gonna stop talking. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the channel for more. You can check out the reactions on Patreon as well if you want to support the Patreon. Link to that's in the description. Costs $1 a month. You get private DM access and a bunch of other stuff, and the reactions get uploaded there too. And without more talking from me, let's jump into my first time and last time ever reaction to Taylor Swift Evermore. Very odd instrumental here. Keeps cutting in and out. What a bizarre start to this song.
It's been a long time, and seeing the shape of your name still spells out pain.
This is one of the most bizarre openings to a Taylor song I have ever heard. The instrumental is very peculiar. If it wasn't for the piano, it wouldn't even feel like a usual Taylor Swift song. And then the first note, it's been a long time, she almost just like spits through, you know? It's been a long time, like says it so quickly. Very interesting song here.
It wasn't right, the way it all went down.
Her tempo
Looks like
keeps
you know
shifting.
that now.
Even the way it all went down was so quick. What unusual style.
Yes, I got your letter, yes, I'm doing better. It cut deep to know you're right to the bone. Yes,
Am I the only one who hears like an English accent when she says, yes, I got your letter? Listen to this again.
Yes, I got your letter, yes, I'm doing better.
There's no way that's an accident.
Right to the bone. Yes, I got your letter, yes, I'm doing better. I know that it's over, I don't need your closure. Your closure. Don't treat me like some situation that needs to be handled.
This is so bizarre.
I'm fine with my spite and my tears and my beers and my candles.
The lyrics and like the song, nothing matches. The metronome and the piano beat that's keeping sort of the time in the background doesn't match the pacing of the lyrics. I'm assuming this is all on purpose, but I'm trying to work out why. The whole song is like so unusual. It's so random and just like thrown together. I've never heard a Taylor song like this.
I can feel you.
The pacing is all over the place.
Yes, I got your letter, yes, I'm doing better. It cut deep to know you're right to the bone. Yes, I got your letter, yes, I'm doing better. I know that it's over, I don't need your closure.
The backing vocals there are nice.
Your closure. Your closure. I know I'm just a wrinkle in your new life. Staying friends would iron it out so nice. Guilty, guilty, reaching out across the sea that you put between you and me.
I always wonder about the staying friends aspect of a breakup. In my experience, it just cannot work. Like, especially with like a serious relationship and then staying friends and then moving on to other relationships. Like, it's never gonna work in the long run. At least that's in my experience. But I know a lot of people who have stayed friends with their ex-partners and who have made it work. And yeah, I always find it unusual. if I'm being honest. I find it incredibly strong of those people, but unusual for me personally. I would never be able to do that. The song itself, I am presuming, is supposed to mimic the random sporadic sort of feelings and the uncomfortable feelings and just how wacky everything feels in a breakup, not needing closure, moving on, everyone sort of going on their own separate ways, and that random window where everything is bizarre and unusual, where you're trying to find yourself again, you're trying to learn what it's like to be single and on your own again, and plan for a future without someone, and all those uncertainties. And I think the uncertain tone and style of this song is supposed to match that uncertain feeling. That would be my guess, based on it being called Closure.
It's oh so unnecessary. Yes, I got your letter. Yes, I'm doing better. It cut deep to know you're right to the bone. Yes, I got your letter. Yes, I'm
There is a British accent coming through here. I can hear it. I can hear it. Where is an accent on purpose? Trust me, I wouldn't know. What an unusual song. That is the most unusual Taylor Swift song I've ever heard. And I don't even think there's a close second. That is so bizarre. Before anyone jumps on it, I'm not saying I don't like it at all. I'm quite saying the opposite. I'm just so confused. It doesn't feel like a Taylor song. And not only does she have like a different style and tone of voice, her pacing is completely different. She speeds up and slows down through the verses. Different lines she spits out like she has a time limit. Other ones she slowly lingers through. The instrumental never matches the beat of the song, which is unusual, but like a lot of people do that. It's an unusual approach, but it can work, and Taylor made it work here. Everything about this is sporadic. Everything feels like it's slightly out of time or slightly off of the momentum. Everything feels unusual. I've never heard a Taylor song like this before, ever. And I can only imagine that the whole reason the song Closure feels like this and is like this is because of the point of the song. Is because this is a song about that window between a relationship and when you're finally free. I can't think of a better word. And that window of like that time. That period is just like the worst because you have your whole life planned, you have everything planned, and your future is this person, and then it crumbles down, it falls apart, and next thing you know, you're just standing there in the dark, and your future is uncertain, and you don't know where you're going, and everything feels weird, and you have to find yourself again. And in those months, some people just become like lash out and become horrible people. I feel like that's what happened with me. I became this shadow of myself, and it takes so long to find your feet again and start walking. And I really feel like, and maybe I'm wrong here, but my interpretation is Closure is supposed to be the song that matches the feelings that someone is going through in that window. And I feel like the lyrics kind of lead to that as well. So that would be my guess. And if that's the case, then it's absolutely genius how she created a song that not only matches it in lyrics, but matches it in instrumental tone and style and everything. And the fact that she's able to do that is absolutely outstanding. Like, it's just crazy. So that would be my guess there. The British accent, I don't know. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, Taylor with the British accent, I can get behind it. I like it. I like how she did that. All right, let's move on to the next one. Taylor Swift, Evermore. And this one is featuring Bon Iver. Let's go.
I've been down since July. Motion capture put me in a bad light. I replay my footsteps on each stepping stone, trying to find the one where I went wrong.
It's interesting having this song straight after Closure, because this feels like the same but different to Closure. Like we're in the same window, we're in the same period, we're still trying to find ourselves, we're recovering from a loss, but we're in the sorrowful part of it.
Writing letters addressed to the fire, and I was catching my breath, staring out an open window, catching my death. And I couldn't be sure, I had a feeling so peculiar that this pain would be for.
I am imagining when she says catching my breath, staring out a window, catching my death, she is just like the image that pops into my head is Taylor just looking outside of a window, her breath visible in front of her and just freezing and shaking it like a snowy landscape, which I imagine is what we're seeing in the background. Beautiful poetry in the lyrics on this one.
Peculiar that this pain would be for evermore.
Oh, the way the violin just like picks up volume there.
Hey December, guess I'm feeling unmoored.
Guess I'm feeling unmoored. She's not feeling attached to December anymore. I wonder if there's a relation to her song Back to December and a connection to this one.
Can't remember what I used to fight for.
Like feeling lost.
I rewind the tape, but all it does is pause on the very moment all was lost, sending signals to be double-crossed.
This song is beautiful poetry. It really is. I rewind the tape, but all it does is pause on like certain moments. When you try and look back at moments of any kind of past relationship or past scenario, you do always fixate on certain parts, and they're always impossible to overcome. No matter how many times you go back to those moments in your mind, or even through photo albums or pictures or anything, you always come back to the same place.
And I was catching my breath, barefoot in the wildest winter, catching my death. And I couldn't be sure, I had a feeling so peculiar that this pain would be for evermore.
Adds a real different tone to it, doesn't it? Just having that simple backing vocals. Like I said, it really does feel like the sister song to Closure. It feels like two people walking alongside each other, or one person at different stages in that grief almost, like just lingering on these emotions and feeling like they're never going to go away. And in that window period from a loss to finding yourself, you lost something, but the way to get over that loss is to find something, and it's just that period of time. And I feel like Closure and Evermore are in that same period, just different stages. Or different ways of looking at it.
Cannot think of all the cost, all the things that will be lost. Oh, can we just get a pause?
Having Bon Iver's voice done like this is great, by the way. This is a really nice way of doing Bon Iver's voice. You can hear the low tone that Bon Iver just sings so beautifully in, and then the high note over it, and the way that like you have like that self harmony is just stunning.
Where the weather be the frost, all the violence of the dog days. I'm on waves of being tossed. Is there a line that I could just go across?
And when I was shipwrecked, I thought of you.
All the things that will be lost now.
In the cracks so light,
Just get apart.
I dreamed of you.
To be certain you'll be told.
And it was real enough to get me through.
All the violence of the dark days. Out on waves, of being torn.
I swear.
Is there a line that we can just go across?
This is a fucking amazing song. That whole window. the way everything changed, the tone, the tempo, the speed, having Bon Iver come in, the piano picks up, and we almost have this like back and forth between the two people in this situation, losing grip on their relationship, losing grip on this situation for whatever reason, and it's just falling out of you, slipping out of your fingers, but you both don't want it to, but you just let it. You let it just fall away, and both sitting there sad as you watch this building you built crumble in front of you, and having that back and forth there just summarized it heartbreakingly perfectly. Amazing.
And I was catching my breath, floors of a cabin creaking under my step, and I couldn't be sure. I had a feeling so peculiar, this pain wouldn't be forevermore.
Recovery.
Evermore.
Almost feels like out of the woods. Like we finally got to that point now where we have that moment of comfort where it feels like you finally walked through the fog. You're finally on the other side of all the pain and bullshit.
Evermore. This pain wouldn't be forevermore. Evermore.
This song makes me it paints a picture in my mind of like a scenario where I can just imagine like a person going through a forest. Like imagine this is for a music video. It starts with someone just like waking up in the middle of a forest, and they're panicked and they're scared and they're running around the forest, and the whole time they're running around the forest, and maybe a couple of times in the music video they nearly escape the forest, you know? They find a boat, but it leaves them. They try and signal a plane, but it doesn't see them. A car goes past, but they miss it too late, and when they wave it down from behind, it keeps going. And you can have all these moments of someone just trapped in a forest trying to escape. And then at some point, they're wandering around the forest, and they see another person in the distance. And they see someone also running around frantically, and they can't recognize them, and they get closer and closer and closer, and that person sees them, and they run towards each other, and it's you. It's you. It's you also lost in the forest. And when you see yourself, you smile, you find comfort in it, you take your own hand, and you walk easily out of the woods. That is what this song put inside of my mind. It made me feel like we were back in that window of closure. We were trying to move away from the pain and the grief of a loss, and we were struggling, and we were doing our best to try and overcome it, but then all it took was us to find ourselves once again. And then once you find yourself, compose yourself, fixing this problem inside of you becomes so simple. And the wound that you thought would never close feels like it was never even there. And that is what this felt like to me. Beautifully lyricized, absolutely stunningly done. The vocals between Taylor and Bon Iver were hauntingly beautiful, and the song put a lump in my throat from the moment I pressed play. What a powerfully moving, breathtakingly beautiful song Evermore is. Gosh, she really has a grip on us, doesn't she, with these. Just amazing how she can just dictate what we're feeling so easily. Wow. Well, let's move on to the next one, shall we? Right where you left me.
Friends break up, friends get married, strangers get born, strangers get buried, trends change, rumors fly through new skies, but I'm right where you left me.
Already like the style of this one. Also, there's a cat has just joined our viewing experience outside of my window on top of my garage. There you go, we got some company. It's a pure black cat with a little white nose and white little boots. Already like the style of this one. Reminds me of old school Taylor, country-esque.
Matches burn after the other, pages turn and stick to each other.
Especially with
Wages
the
earned and
banjo.
lessons learned, but I'm right where you left me. Help, I'm still at the restaurant, still sitting in a corner I haunt, cross-legged in the dim light. They say what a sad sight. I swear you could hear a hairpin drop right when I felt the moment stop. Glass shattered on the white cloth, everybody moved on. I stayed there, dust collected on my pinned up hair.
Trying to work out what scenario this song is supposed to present here, because the lyrics feel very literal. It is someone who's just been sitting in again, a loss. There's a lot of loss in Evermore. Some sort of loss. Can't work out what kind of loss here. Something's been taken away from this person. Everyone else has moved on with the loss, with this tragic moment, but this one person's still there, still lost in the past, right where they were left. And when everyone's moved on and done their things, when they come back, this person's still sitting there, emotionally and maybe physically too. And it's interesting because the song itself feels very emotionally heavy and heartbreaking, despite the lyrics, despite the instrumental being a bit more upbeat, you know, following the old school country Taylor style.
They expected me to find somewhere, some perspective, but I sat and stayed right where you left me. You left me no.
Oh, beautiful notes there.
You left me no. You left me no choice but to stay here forever. You left me. You left me no. Oh, you left me no. You left me no choice but to stay here forever.
This is an instrumental I could just instantly fall in love with. The guitar work here now is just fucking awesome. The ukulele was like opening, banjo opening, was brilliantly well done. The song, it feels like we have a modern Taylor vocals on an old Taylor instrumental. That's the best way I can think to describe this song. But it has all the beautiful, heartbreaking lyricism of Evermore, that beautiful poetry that she's poured into this entire album, and the symbolism behind this song, I just goes straight over my head. This is a hard one for me to crack here. I feel like I can understand the literal meaning of a person lingering and just sitting there, but you left me no choice but to stay here. Why were they left no choice? That part I can't work out.
Did you ever hear about the girl who got frozen? Time went on for everybody else, she won't know it. She's still 23, inside her fantasy, how it was supposed to be. Did you hear about the girl who lives in delusion? Breakups happen every day, you don't have to lose it. She's still 23, inside her fantasy, and you're sitting in front of me at the restaurant when I was still the one you want. Cross-legged in the dim light, everything was just right.
The way the whole song just goes quiet, and then everything clicks, and then suddenly everything makes sense, and we're there, and we're feeling this breakup. We're feeling how, again, this picture of you paint your entire life in front of you, imagining what your future is going to be like with this person, this fantasy with this person, and you feel like your bonds are so unbelievably strong, and when that is severed, you're just lost. And this is another one of those moments. I'm imagining again the picture that Taylor is portraying a person. For some reason I've got like a diner. I got someone sitting in the corner of a diner, just like by a window on their own. The light doesn't work above them, and you can barely make out their face, and they just come in and sit there every day because that's where they used to sit with this person, and they just struggle to move on even though that person's already gone.
Feel the mascara run. You told me that you met someone. Glass shattered on the white cloth, everybody moved on. Help, I'm still at the restaurant.
Or it's more figurative. All of that is like symbolism inside someone's mind that this person mentally is still there, mentally is still in that moment, and mentally wants to move on from that moment. It's amazing how these three songs link together so perfectly. All of them just click. They feel like they're all about the exact same thing, but from different perspectives and sung in different ways.
Sitting in a corner, I haunt, cross-legged in a dim light. You say what a sad sight. I stayed there, dust collected on my pinned up hair. I'm sure that you got a wife out there, kids and Christmas, but I'm unaware, 'cause I'm right where I cause no harm. Mind my business. If I love died young, I can't bear witness, and it's been so long that if you ever think you got it wrong, I'm right where you left me. You left me, no.
That line kind of breaks my heart. I've known people like this, and I'm sure right now you have all known someone like this. Someone who just refuses to move on, even though the person they care about has moved on. Or someone who sits there for so long, almost obsessed over this person. And you just watch them and you're like, this isn't healthy. You need to move on. You need to think about your life. And they just sit there. People like this, they exist. This isn't a fantasy. And it's sad, because you want what's best for them, but they can't see what's best for them anymore, because all they could ever imagine was this person was what's best for them.
You left me. You left me, no. You left me, no. You left me no choice but to stay here forever. You left me. You left me, no. You left me, no. You left me no choice but to stay here forever.
I feel like we're really getting our asses kicked here, from being honest, guys. I feel like all of these songs have been around the same point, and it's a point I'm not fond of. It's taking me back to a time where I wasn't happy, and it's sending me back to this like depressing moments, and I'm just sitting here sad. I'm not sad for myself as much as I'm sad for anyone who has to experience this. And I feel like we've had 3 songs in a row that have been in this window of loss and recovery and pain, and I'm struggling. I'm getting like emotionally beaten here. I want something happy. The next song I hope is about like Taylor finding a $20 bill under her sofa cushions. And she's like, oh, damn, isn't it amazing when you find that $20 bill? And she just like sings about what she's going to spend the $20 on. I might get a pizza. I might go down to the beach. I don't know. Like, that's what I hope the next song is about. Although I got a funny feeling it won't be. All of these songs are so beautifully written that I stand by what I said. And I mean this. I think Evermore is Taylor's best lyrical album. And I honestly think it stands on its own legs in terms of lyrical ability. It is fucking perfect. It is amazing. And I hate how good it is, because I'm sitting here imagining all these horrible, heartbreaking scenarios because of her beautiful words and how fantastic she paints them, that I'm sucked into this devastating feeling. And I don't like it. Right Where You Left Me just gave me this image of, I knew a girl like this. I knew a girl like this who, if the guy called 10 years later, she'd answer the phone. And I just feel sad for people like that who never fully move on. Because I feel like those people are so susceptible to being taken advantage of. They really give their heart so strongly. And it's so sad when they don't give it to the right person. And I feel like that's what this song reminded me of, is those poor people like that. Those hopeless romantics who pour everything into one person, and then that's it. They just sit and settle on that one person. You hope that they find the right person, but when they don't, it's sad how sometimes they just get taken advantage of, and that's what that felt like to me. Right, we're going to move on from that one. It's Time to Go is the final song of Evermore, and it's going to be a super happy, awesome song. Are you ready to end on a happy note? Let's do this.
When
Happy
the
song.
dinner is cold and the chatter gets old, you ask for the tab. Oh, that moment again, he's insisting that friends look at each other like that. When the words of a sister come back in whispers that prove she was not, in fact, what she seemed, not a twin from your dreams, she's a crook who was caught. That old familiar body ache, the snaps from the same little breaks in your soul.
Insisting that friends look at each other like that. So is this about trust in a relationship, perhaps? Some like oh my god, man, this is gonna make me think of a bunch of stuff as well. Those like, almost like gaslighting. And you're like, this is a bit weird, and it's like, no, this is normal. This is normal behavior. This is how friends act. Gaslighting. Is that what this is?
You know when it's time to go. At your job, then the son or the boss gets the spot that was yours. We're trying to stay for the kids when keeping it how it is will only break their hearts worse.
That line, and the son gets the job that you thought was yours, makes me think of Friends immediately. If you know that episode, then you and I are probably going to be best friends.
That old familiar body ache, the snaps from the same little breaks in your soul. You know when it's time to go. Sometimes giving up is the strong thing. Sometimes to run is the brave thing. Sometimes walking out is the one thing that will find you the right thing.
I actually agree with the sometimes walking away is the strong thing. There are so many moments where, think about it this way, if you've got like this moment of pride and you don't want to walk away and you want to stay there and you want to face something, and walking away feels way more difficult than it does to stay here, then it's quite obvious what's the right thing, the hard thing to do.
Sometimes giving up is the strong thing. Sometimes to run is the brave thing. Sometimes walking out is the one thing that will find you the right thing.
Love that line. Oh, and her note there.
15
Give me like
years,
a
15 million
Stevie Nicks kind of
tears, begging
vibe.
till my knees bled. I gave it my all, he gave me nothing at all, then wondered why I left.
This feels a bit
Now
more
he sits on his
powerful
throne
in a
in
good
his
way.
palace of bones, praying to his greed. He's got my past frozen behind glass, but I've got me.
I love that. Finally, this feels like we're out. It feels like we made it. This feels like like you know the random story I created in the forest. This feels like the next chapter. We found yourself. I've got me. The person is sitting there, you know, like confused as to why did they leave? And it's like, well, because you weren't right for me. That's why I left. But I've got me. You can have those moments. That's fine. They're yours. But the rest of the time is mine.
That old familiar body ache, the snaps from the same little breaks in my soul. I know when it's time to go. Sometimes giving up is the strong thing. Sometimes to run is the brave thing. Sometimes walking out is the one thing that will find you the right thing.
Love that
Sometimes
line.
giving up is the strong thing. Sometimes to run is the brave thing.
Your time is so fucking valuable. Don't ever let anyone tell you it isn't. Don't dedicate your time to someone who isn't giving you their time. Listen to Taylor, okay? You listen to Taylor. You're worth more than that. You listen to this song.
Sometimes walking out is the one thing that will find you the right thing.
We're ending on kind of a
Will
happy.
find you the right thing.
The song is sad, but it's strong,
You know.
empowering, happy.
In your soul, you know. In your soul,
Are we out of the woods? Yeah.
when it's time to go.
Yeah?
And we know, you know, you know, you know.
The way we're like like floating across this landscape and we're seeing cracks form in it. It feels like we're sort of looking at the past where the cracks are forming in this relationship. We understand the cracks are there, and we're like, you start seeing them. You never saw them when you're in the relationship. When you look back, you see all the cracks, you see all the red flags, all the warning signs. I also really want to point out how I love how we have, again, that country-esque style sound just undertoned on this whole song. It literally feels like Taylor bringing back old Taylor for some of these songs. It's just beautifully well done.
When it's time to go.
Beautifully well done.
So then you go.
And I feel like
Then you go.
her saying, you know when it's time to go,
Just go.
she's talking to herself. And she's talking to us. Like, you know when it's time to go. Deep down, you know you should just go. Sometimes it's the hardest thing, but it's the right thing. This really feels like she's talking to people who are going through this and also herself. Fucking amazing. What an outstanding album this has been. Truly incredible. I can't fault Evermore. It is brilliant. It is brilliant. It is perfect. It is utterly seamless. It is horrible and devastating and brutal all at the same time. It is insane how I can say that and it makes sense. It is insane how I can sit here and go, this album is one of the most painful, heartbreaking, bitter experiences I've ever had listening to an album, but it's one of the most beautiful, poetic, breathtakingly moving experiences I've had listening to an album. And when I use words like bitter, I really mean them in a good way, despite how they sound. In the way that Taylor is able to articulate and portray all those emotions of pain and loss and recovery and the mental elements that go with it and what someone would be experiencing and feeling as they try to move on. And I really feel like it is just amazing how she's able to do that. And all of Evermore does that. This entire album is pure poetry of our worst and best moments. Of trying to like find ourselves after we've lost ourselves, but also experiencing that loss again. Almost losing ourselves multiple times before it finally clicks. I feel like this album just takes you back to some of the worst and most painful moments of your emotional life, but it shows you that you need those moments. It shows you that everything you are now is because of those moments. It takes you through the shit once again, and you're driving through it confused as to why you have to experience this a second time. And then when you get to the other side, you realize, oh, that's why, because of all of this, I am me. I am where I am now. I went through all of this and I'm here. And this whole album feels like a journey like that. I really do feel like this is one of the, not only Taylor's best, this is one of the best lyrical albums I have ever heard. In terms of lyrics, Evermore is worlds above anything. It is stunning. The level of detail, double meanings, and symbolism that has gone into writing every single song on this album is incredible. Taylor nailed it. Evermore is just pure perfection. It's not that album you're going to put on when you want to enjoy a nice summer's evening, unless you're kind of crazy, you know, which a lot of us are. So, you know, some of us might want to have a little cry in the summer, but it is absolutely an album you're going to sit and obsess over. Just perfect from Taylor. I cannot wait to see where we go from here. What's next in our Taylor Swift journey? Let me know, my Swifties, in that comment section down below. I really hope you guys enjoyed my reaction to Evermore. What's your favorite song from all of Evermore and why? And what song means the most to you? It doesn't have to be your favorite song, but what song means the most to you from this album? Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you guys continue to enjoy my reactions. It means a lot to me. And as always, my friends, you will see me in the next video.